Hey, what is up, guys? It's Brendan here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Zoho Books, doing a how to use Zoho Books, as well as an overview and general review of the Zoho Books software. So if you're not familiar, Zoho Books is a free accounting software. They have a free version, at least, of course, of the software. They do also have paid plans, depending on what your needs are within your business. We will be diving into the pricing in just a moment, as well as taking a look at the back end of Zoho Books and what it actually looks like once you are signed up and online with the software. Now, before we dive into things, of course, I do want to mention, if you aren't already signed up with Zoho Books and you do want to check them out or follow along with this video, you can go and check out that first link down below in the description box. They'll take you right over to Zoho Books, where you can get signed up. Of course, some of the links in the description are affiliate links, which is a great way to help out and support the channel. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into things. So, of course, taking a look here at Zoho Books, it is a accounting software. Now, I do mention Zoho Books a lot on the channel here on free accounting software, as some of the best free accounting software, as well as just accounting software in general, because a lot of you guys are looking for maybe some ways to save money in your business, or to just keep better track of your overall business finances, and maybe looking at alternatives to like QuickBooks or FreshBooks, or maybe some of the other more expensive software that have higher monthly fees, or even if you're maybe just looking for, again, a software that has a free plan. So we'll get into that in just a moment, and we will be taking a look, of course, like I said, at the back end of Zoho Books. But just taking a quick overview, of course, of Zoho Books. Again, it is an accounting platform. In order to keep track of your overall income, expenses. You can also do invoicing. You can add your customers, track your overall, business as a whole, just your overall business finances. Essentially, what accounting software is built for. Now, taking a look at the pricing, of course, just as a quick take a look here. Of course, pricing is always subject to change, so be sure to check out the pricing pages from Zoho to get the most realistic and up-to-date pricing. But if you are interested in the free version, I do have to mention, of course, that the free version is limited to businesses with annual revenue under 50,000 US dollars, at least as of the time of making this video. It is limited to, again, under $50,000 in annual revenue on your business in order to be able to use the free version. So that is something worth keeping in mind. After that, then the other paid plans do, they're more comparable, I guess you could say, to other accounting software in terms of pricing when it comes to paid plans. But you can do quite a bit on the free version, again, if your income and annual revenue is underneath that threshold. Beyond that, it still is a fantastic software. Of course, we'll be getting into that in a little bit here. Of the, standard, professional, premium, like those are the more, the paid versions. Again, not getting too detailed into all the different variations. If you need multiple users, things like that, that might be a reason to, maybe scale up to the higher paid plans as well. But realistically, most of you guys watching this video would be fine probably with the standard version or even just the free version. Again, if you're maybe a beginner and you're just getting started, maybe you are just a sole proprietor, you're just a solo person, and you're just looking to keep track of your income and expenses. So that is something worth keeping in mind in order to qualify for the free version. Again, they do also have monthly or yearly subscriptions as well. Again, first link down below in the description will take you over to Zoho Books. So once you go ahead and get started with Zoho Books, whether you're doing, the free plan or you're just, signing up with them, once you get logged in, this is the dashboard that you are going to see. So again, taking a look here at Zoho Books in the software, you will see the overall dashboard. So you do have accounts receivables, payables, so you have invoicing and unpaid bills as well. So you can see current, overdue. Again, I will be inputting a few different manual transactions so that you can see sort of what the cash flow report looks like in just a moment. So we will be getting into that in a little bit here. Once I go ahead and show you how to add in manual transactions. You can also link your bank as well. They do have a banking feature. So if you do want to do things automatically, you do also have that option as well. So in terms of cash flow, of course, that's the amount of money moving in and out of your business. That's the whole point. Most people want to use accounting software so they get a better view of their overall business finances. They do also have reporting in here as well. So you can take a look at like your overall balance balance sheet, as well as your profit and loss statements for the whole year, or even just here within your month-to-month cash flow. It just depends on how you want to look at your reports. We'll get into the reports a little bit later as well. So you can see this fiscal year, last 12 months, previous fiscal year, incoming, outgoing, and overall cash in the business. So you can see your overall income and expenses. This is personally my favorite chart here. Again, I will be putting in some data in here. Don't worry. And you can go based on a cash basis or an accrual basis of accounting. Just as a quick explanation there, cash basis is basically you treat it as though your bank account, you only recognize the money that is actually in your bank account. So you have that cash, quote unquote, in the bank. Whereas accrual will count the cash that is scheduled to be paid. So say, for example, you had an invoice and your customer hasn't paid you yet, but you already have that billed out, like that work has been billed, say you're a lawn care company or something like that. Or maybe you're a contractor, you did the work and you have the bill, it's just not due for maybe 60 days, net 60 or something like that. Then that would be the accrual basis where essentially, you're recognizing that cash as if it was earned in the month that you did the work or that you billed the customer, but you might not actually get paid for maybe a month or 2 months later. But you recognize it in the month that it was billed. So that's just, it depends on how you want to go about doing things. I personally like and prefer cash. I think cash is easier for most business owners, especially small business owners. Cash is the easier way to go, but you can also do accrual. You just need to be consistent with what you're doing and reporting for your taxes when it comes tax time. Again, that's another reason to use accounting software as well, so you get a good overall view. So they do also have inventory tracking and items, sales, purchases. We'll get into all these. They also have time tracking. They also have an accountant view. So if you are going to be inviting an accountant, you can do that here as well. They do also have like a document section, so you can view any like types of things that have been maybe attached to a transaction. They do also have a payroll integration as well. And just to take a quick look at that, that is technically a separate software that's under the Zoho payroll. So that is an additional add-on if you are interested in that. Again, not going to be focusing on that too much here in this video, but it's something worth mentioning that is another software that they do offer sort of like as an upsell to the Zoho books. Pretty much every accounting software has some sort of payroll integration nowadays. So that is something worth keeping in mind, and it is a direct integration, so it could be a good option for you. So going ahead and showing you exactly like how to enter a transaction. Again, we're going to be doing this manually here in this video today and recognizing things on a cash basis because I think that's just the easiest for most people to understand. So all you need to do is go over here to banking. Now, if you were going to be linking your bank account or your credit cards, this is where you would do it. So you can do things automatically. So again, as you can see here, it will fetch all your transactions, and then you can create, categorize, and manage these transactions within Zoho Books. So that is one option if you want to do things automatically. Again, you will still need to review and categorize these transactions, but it will go ahead and automatically get all of them. So you're not having to add all of them manually. But for the sake of this tutorial, we're just going to add in some manual transactions just so you can get an overall idea of how it works. So this is a bank or credit card. So right here, name you given your bank account. So personal savings account. Let's just call this, business. This is to say like a business checking or something like that. You could also label that here. So let's just say it's business checking. Currency US dollars. So if you are in another currency, you can change that as well. And we're gonna make that the primary. So this is where you would be adding the things if you're going to be linking it. Again, we're not, so we're just gonna go ahead and add in like business checking. Just so that it has an account to then register these transactions to. Again, if you had connected your actual bank account, that's where you would import your statements or go ahead and log in and have it done automatically. So we're going to go ahead and then add in a transaction. So we have the, as you can see here, the business checking amount in Zoho Books. So prefer just adding the opening balances. So you can also do that as well. That's if you're going to be entering in like your current balances, that's where you're going to get the information for your balance sheet. If you don't necessarily care about that, all you need is the transactions. You don't necessarily need the current cash that's sitting in the bank account. But if you are interested in that, you do need that. That's how you would go about doing that. Now, we're not going to be importing any statements directly or downloading any bank statements. We're just going to go ahead and add a transaction. So money in. So we're going to say this is sales without invoices. Again, I will be showing you the invoices section in just a little bit here. So we're going to say this is, again, you can categorize as well based on the type of income that it is, whether it be like general income, interest income, late fee income, sales. So you can really kind of split things out. When it comes tax time, ultimately it really doesn't matter a whole lot. That's just, at least for income side of things. Again, it does matter a lot more for expenses, because expenses all have different IRS transaction amounts. So like some of them might not be a full deduction. We'll get into that in a little bit here. But as far as income, generally speaking, if you just log things as sales, this is more so for your own personal tracking needs, as far as like what revenue account you want to associate things with, just for your own tracking. Again, you can keep it as simple or as complicated as you want to. Again, I'm just showing you sort of like a simple way to go about doing things. There's, again, a million different ways you can, do your accounting and set up especially your income or other things. This is just a pretty easy way to do it. So let's just say we had $1,000 that can actually, let's just change that to like, I don't know, $1,500. Receive via cash or bank transfer. Yeah, let's just say it was a check or something like that. Now, you can also attach images and files here if you want to. You can also add tagging as well. Again, we don't currently have any tags, but tags can be good if you want to parse things out, maybe based on like the type of income it is. Again, even beyond just the revenue account, tags can be just another way to slice and dice your data. Again, you can get really in the weeds with this stuff. So I'm trying to keep it simple here just for this tutorial today. So let's just say it was $1,500. We're going to hit save. And then it will then go ahead and save that. So the bank transaction has been recorded. And as you can see here, we now have that $1,500 that went into the sales account. We're going to go ahead and now add an expense. And as you can see here too, there are a lot of different options, again, in terms of, if it's a customer payment in advance, a transfer. Again, a lot of these things, if you are going to be automatically linking your bank account, some of these things will sort of make like more sense. If you have a transfer, you label things as a transfer so that it's not clogging up your actual income and expenses. You just want to make sure that you're not accidentally logging transfers as additional income if you're just transferring between two different bank accounts. That's something to keep in mind as well. But we're going to go ahead and, again, like we said, we have cash that went in. Now we're going to log an expense. So this is the simplest way to do your overall accounting. Again, I'm really going very simple here in this video here today, just to make a very easy way to get things rolling in Zoho Books. Again, you can get more into the weeds with it. So if you have an expense account, so as you can see here, meals and entertainment. So now this is where it really does, it's very important to make sure that you're logging things under the correct categories. You can search on the IRS website as well to get some additional information as far as, what accounts you want to log things under for expenses, what makes sense under certain expenses. Again, it's pretty straightforward, but it can get a little confusing maybe if you're new to all these types of things in terms of what expense category it is. Like, hey, what is advertising and marketing? Like, or bank fees and service charges, that's pretty straightforward, right? Automobile expense, lodging, IT and internet, fuel and mileage. So there are a few different things that can get a little bit more complicated, but we're just going to go ahead and log as office supplies for this one. Because that is a full deduction. Something to keep in mind, and this always is changing, so make sure to check out the IRS website or other tutorials or like current up-to-date information as far as the percentages. That really, the specific percentage deductions that you get really more so comes tax time, but it's important to be aware of things like as you're logging them to make sure you're logging them under the right categories when you're doing your accounting throughout the year, because otherwise it can create a lot of work to go back and fix every transaction throughout the year. So make sure you're going in and tracking these expenses properly throughout the year when you're going in and creating the expenses in your accounting software. So we're going to do a couple of these. So we're going to do office supplies. Let's just say it was 2 days ago or something like that. And we're going to say it was just $30, right? Office supplies, it didn't spend too much money. Again, and we're just going to go ahead and hit save. And we're going to also add a meals and entertainment. Now, the IRS currently does not actually recognize entertainment anymore. They did away with that. So it is just meals. And I believe at the moment it is 50% deductible. Again, that really more so matters tax time in terms of how much you're actually being able to claim within your business. But this is just so you get an overall view of like your cash flow within your business, your income, and your expenses. So we're going to go ahead and add another expense. Because at the end of the day, the expense is still an expense within your business, right? But in terms of the tax deductible expense, like some are 100%, and others are not. So, one case where it's not is like meals, because it depends on the type of meal as well. Meals can get kind of complicated. Not to drag on that too much here in this video, but if it's for a company party, then it's 100% because it's in the office and things like that. But if it's just you in your own business and you're just going out and getting Chipotle or something, that's not going to be 100% deductible because they're like, you still got to eat, right? So let's just say we spent $13. I don't know how much a burrito bowl is nowadays, but let's just go ahead and hit save. And then it will log in here as an expense within your account. Now, again, if you do have like a credit card and things like that, you can log those separately under different accounts. That's more so if you are going to be linking your accounts directly. Again, I'm just showing you a simple method of doing things manually within this singular business checking account, right? Let's just say you had one account and you're just using a debit card off of that account, right? This is just a very simple way to do it. So we have the meals and entertainment, we have the office supplies, so you can see your overall like running balance and how much you've withdrawn, how much you've deposited within your account. We're going to go ahead and add another transaction here as well. We're going to say it's another customer. Let's just say it's a customer payment. So this would make sense if you had like invoicing. We'll get into the invoicing in just a moment. So again, if you had, certain customers in here, that's where you would go ahead and add them. We're going to go ahead and add a new customer. So as you can see here, you can add in, all the things you would need on a invoice within like a customer data as far as their contact name, address, if it's a business or individual, their email, display name, things like that. So we're just going to say this is Joe. We got Joe and they have, no opening balance. So you can set the certain terms as well here. And this is more so for invoicing specifically. So we'll get into that a little bit after this as far as invoicing, what that looks like. So we're just going to go ahead and hit save here. Again, there's a lot more information that you can add in here too. So we've got Joe added as a customer, and then the amount received, let's just say another $1,000, one payment in cash. So we're just going to go ahead and save that. Store the excess amount as overpayment. Sure. Yeah. Let's just say it was overpayment. And then it will go ahead and save that information here. So now we have an extra $1,000 in here. Customer payment. from Joe. So if it's a sale with an invoice, it will link to customer information. So you can keep track of all your different customers, which can be very helpful in terms of seeing like, hey, maybe what customers are paying you the most amount of money, things like that, or who's paying on time. You can really get into the weeds and all that in here as well within Zoho Books, which is nice. You also have, again, sales without invoices. So let's go back to the home and see sort of what it looks like once you actually have some transactions in here. So as you can see, you have your overall cash flow. You have your top expenses. So you got office supplies, meals, and entertainment. You have your total income on an accrual basis or a cash basis. So again, as you can see here, we had that sale. And then we also had the expenses. This is all within June. So you can also set this up as like last 12 months or last 6 months. So you can see income and expenses on the cash basis. Now, I guess because of the fact that the other balance came in just separately, it's just logging it here within the business checking instead of being on the income and expenses underneath the banking. So that is something worth keeping in mind depending on how you're logging things, that you're going to want to make sure that you log them in such a way that it properly shows up within your reporting, because that's just going to show as your overall bank balance instead of just your income and expense chart. So that is something worth keeping in mind because it just added it as like an other thing. So we're going to go ahead and actually delete this one here. The extra customer payment from Joe. So we're just going to go ahead and delete that transaction there. And then it will be back to usual sales without invoices. So really, if you want to keep things very simple and you don't necessarily have invoices, you can just keep it entering things as, sales. If you just have a business bank account and you're getting paid from certain vendors or things like that, that's how you can go about doing it. Now, in terms of other options in the software, so you do also have items. Now, I'm not going to be spending too much time here on items. This is more so if you're maybe running a business where you have inventory in goods and services. They do also offer Zoho inventory where you can have more advanced inventory management that works within Zoho Books. So this is more so if you have like warehouses or physical products that you're going to be keeping track of. And that's really important for keeping track of your overall cost of goods sold and keeping track of your overall sales taxes as well. So if you had items to add to your inventory, this is where you would go ahead and do it. Within like different items that you might need to add within your business. We're not going to be logging those in here today, but this is where you go about doing it. So you can log in like goods, service, name, the prices of things and all of that as well. Again, this would be under your cost of goods sold. So that's how you go about doing that there. Then you do also have, again, you have your sales area here where you can add your customers. You can do quotes, invoicing, payments received, recurring invoices. So as you can see, we have Joe as a customer. We also have the ability to add in quotes. So you can go ahead and quote customers as well, so that in terms of what a quote would look like, as you can see, you can quote things, send it to a customer. They can either accept it and then it will generate an invoice, or they can reject it. So we're going to go ahead and create a quote here just to show you what it looks like within Zoho Books. So you can either add a customer or select a customer. We're just going to go with Joe, quote number, quote date. And you can easily go in here and itemize things and provide, shipping charges, adjustments, discounts, terms and conditions, email, files, customer notes as well, or adding additional rows. So you can easily quote things out in terms of your overall rates for things or the quantities of things. This is really important if that's what you do in your business, is a lot of quoting jobs or things like that. Then once it's, the quote is sort of like a preemptive version of an invoice. So you can do either. You can either directly set up an invoice or you can quote work as well. Just depends on how you're setting things up. The other thing within the invoicing as well is that you can also brand them, so you can make sure it's personalized to your business and reflecting your brand. In addition to regular invoices within Zoho Books, they do also have recurring invoices, which is super nice. Maybe if you're in the lawn care business, you can set up those recurring invoices so you don't have to think about it. It's just automatically sent out, and you can, keep sending out those recurring invoices without having to go and generate new invoices for every single customer that you have, which can save you a lot of time in the long run. Again, especially if you're just getting started, it is a nice option there that they have that. So you can go ahead and add in, if you want to add discount, I don't give discounts or adjustments, no shipping charges, things like that. And you can add a field for salesperson as well. So just depending on how your business is set up, you can go ahead and add those, transaction preferences within your invoicing options. So as you can see here, within the invoices, once this loads here, within your invoices, you can, customize them and set them up. So you can add invoice numbers, invoice date, basically the same as a quote, but this will actually then, send to your customer in order to get paid. So in order to get paid, you will need to set up a payment gateway. I'm not going to be going into that too much in this video here today, but you will need to set up payment gateway to receive the payments online. So that is something you do have to go in and submit your information and make sure that you get approved for in terms of accepting payments. So it is a pretty straightforward process in terms of setting up a payment gateway. I do have a video on the channel here going through the best payment gateways. In terms of what's available is really going to be your best option. I personally do like Stripe. PayPal can be another good option, or even, the nice thing about Stripe is you can do ACH payments as well as credit and debit card payments. That's going to be typically your lowest amount of transaction fees for accepting payments. There is also authorize.net is another good one too. Square you can set up. It just depends on your business. Again, if you do want to check out that video on the channel, you can just search for payment gateways. And I do have a video going over some of the best payment gateway options that are out there. So it does, Zoho Books does have a lot of different payment gateways to choose from. So it's just about picking which one makes the most sense for you to accept payments directly through your invoicing. Then you can see your payments received. Recurring invoices as well, so you can set up and recurringly, charge automatically and send out those invoices. You can automate or manually charge your customer's card, or automatically sending the repeat invoices depending on the schedule. So if you set up a monthly service, you can go ahead and do that in here as well. In terms of purchases, you can also track expenses within certain vendors. So maybe you have certain vendors that you're going to be purchasing through. You can go through and set up those expenses. As you can see here, we have the meals and entertainment and the office supplies expenses. You can set up recurring expenses as well. Again, that might make sense if you're using maybe a certain vendor all the time. You can also, pay your bills through here. So you can create bills and record them as well. Apply credits, things like that. It just depends on if you're using vendors specifically and they need a bill sent to them, then you can pay them through that as well. You can see your payments made, recurring bills, vendor credits. In addition to that, they do also have time tracking software as well in terms of keeping track of projects. So this can be good again if you're maybe in the construction sort of, or how long you're going to be doing a specific project or quoting it out. That's an option you have in here. You also have a timesheet that you can log your time in. They do also have a Chrome extension if you are going to be, logging digital tasks and things like that. Or you can just log things based on, how much time is spent on a given project. Again, if you are in person as well, you can log time that way too. This is more so for contracting and certain job scopes and things like that. You do also have, again, the accounting option here that you can go ahead and add an accountant. You do also have a reporting feature. as well, so you can take a look at, your profit and loss statement. This is personally my favorite statement within any kind of business. Just seeing your overall profit and loss. So you can easily break down the operating expenses. So you have your meals, entertainment, office supplies, things like that. Again, this is technically currently just meals really within the IRS book, but just make sure you check that as well. And then you can separate things out here. Again, you can separate this to the cash basis as well. You can separate it for this month, for the year, how your business is doing, run that report, and you can easily see, okay, boom, you have your expenses, your net profit and loss, and your overall sales operating income. So that's pretty much how it works here within Zoho Books. Again, you do also have documents, so you can take a look at certain files that you may be uploaded, your bank statements, things like that. But that's pretty much how, again, Zoho Books operates. It's a pretty complex software that you can really do a lot within, or you can choose to keep things simple like I showed you here in this video today, just showing you a pretty easy way to keep track of income and expenses as long as you log them a certain way. Again, if you log them in just as a sale without an invoice and just as an expense, you can import your bank account as well. And the nice thing about Zoho Books is, again, they do have that free version, that free plan if you're under a certain amount of revenue. As well within Zoho Books. So again, guys, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, then be sure to smash that like button. And if you are interested in checking out Zoho Books and you haven't signed up already, you can go and check out that first link down below in the description. That will take you right over to Zoho Books, where you can get signed up with Zoho Books. Again, some of the links in the description are affiliate links, which is a great way to help out and support the channel. Again, if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button as well, and notification bell so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. But anyway, guys, that's all for today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.